in your practice of 14-15 years so far, what are the top 3 reasons or 4 reasons that you see for couples filing for divorce? And are these reasons the same for both men and women?
So I'd say the top reasons, Pooja, would be cruelty beats anything, right? Cruelty is top there for women when they file for
So
divorces.
it's both physical harassment and
Yes.
mental harassment.
So cruelty would include both physical and mental. Initially, the courts only spoke about domestic violence or if there was physical abuse. But of late, they've understood that yes, harassment also means mental harassment. Harassment would also, or cruelty would also, for that matter, mean, passing rude comments or being sarcastic or, body shaming somebody or, constantly finding faults with something that someone is doing. All of those taunts would also include, in cruelty, which it took time for courts to understand. They were like, "It's normal hai, bola hi to hai." But to understand that how those regular taunts figure out in somebody's life and how it impacts them mentally is also something that's coming up now, and courts are recognizing it for that matter. Adultery, again, is one of the top reasons why people get divorced. Infidelity, impotency, infertility, all of these issues are what, are the top reasons why people choose to separate.
And it's the same for both men and women.
So, Pooja, I think women in our country, or even men for that matter, don't use adultery as a ground, because it's very difficult to prove it. In the sense that when a woman files a case on the ground for adultery, she would have to make that person that your husband's having an affair with also a party.
Okay.
The one that we call an adulterer. So, first you need to know that who that person is. Second, you also need to have proofs to show that yes, they were in a relationship outside marriage. And the threshold of proving this in the court is extremely high. So people would rather resort to something like cruelty because it's easier to prove. How the court interprets a WhatsApp message or a voice note can always be interpreted, in the sense that if you and I are having a conversation, hum aaram se baat kar rahe hain, I will first instigate you. And then I start recording it from the point where you start shouting at me, right? And that becomes my evidence. That see, look at the filthy and foul language that she is using. So that's easier to prove, right? Rather than going and following somebody, आप एक investigator लगाते हो, withdrawals कहाँ हुए हैं, कौन से hotel में check-in हो रहा है, that's very difficult. So people resort to cruelty because it's just easier to prove.